Hey everyone, I'm Parker, co-founder of Deco Exchange. Ever been told that crafting is just a hobby? Well, we've turned our passion for crafting into a thriving 8-figure business, surrounded ourselves with an incredible community, and learned countless valuable lessons along the way. From navigating business challenges to celebrating wins, we've seen firsthand that makers mean business. Join me as we dive deep into these stories, strategies, and secrets behind making your craft a successful enterprise. Because here at Makers Mean Business, we're all about proving that makers aren't just making, they're building dreams and running businesses. Hey everyone, it is Parker here with the Makers Mean Business podcast. Y'all, I am back for episode 2 of our Mastering Live Sales series. Y'all, I'm just super passionate about live sales. It's truly changed, I don't want to say the direction, but it's just helped scale our business so much. So good for a lot of reasons. And I'm going off script here, y'all. I just felt super compelled to talk about how important it is for our business and how much I've seen it change our business. And I don't know all the details of other people's businesses, but I know that live selling is just such a great tool. I know at the end of episode 1, I talked a little bit about, all the different things that you need to live sell. And I said, you just need a phone and you just need to turn it on. And y'all, I really stand by that. You really don't psych yourself out. And I'm going to sound like a broken record, but I know how many people object to starting to do something because the timing's not right or the things aren't right. Y'all, it's never perfect. It's never right. Very few times in our business have I been like, oh my gosh, this is the perfect time to be doing this. It's hardly ever been like that. It's great when it is, but it's hardly ever. So I just want to challenge you guys again. If you haven't ever tried to do a live sale or even just done a live video at all, I'll be honest, it's going to be terrible. It's going to be stressful. You're going to be scared. You're going to overanalyze every single thing you do, but you're going to get better the next time you do it and better the next time you do it. And before you know it, it's going to just be like second nature. Yo, I know I went a little off there, but this episode is all going to be all about planning your live sale. I want to cover a couple things or 3 things. Y'all, I've broken each of these episodes down into 3 kind of subcategories, and I want to just spend a little bit of time talking about each one. The first one is going to be setting goals and objectives. I think I'm really good at this whenever I'm doing live selling, so I'm going to have a little bit to say about it. The next one I think might be helpful to all of you out there who are a little bit more planned than I am. This is definitely something that I do right now for the podcast to help me stay on track, to help me keep focus. And it may help you during your live sales and your videos. And then the last thing I want to do is talk about promoting your live sale or promoting your live video. You can really, honestly, with this episode and the one previous, the first episode, you can really just replace the word live sale with just live video if you want to, because really it can serve the same purpose. If maybe you're thinking, oh, I don't want to do a live sale, let's just talk about live video. If that's you, just keep on listening. The first thing I want to talk about is setting goals and objectives. If you're goal driven, if you're monetarily driven, maybe you have a certain metric that you want to meet every month, maybe you should break that down. Let's say in the Makers University, I'm a business coach there. You can check us out at the makersuniversity.com. I probably don't plug that enough, but if you guys don't know, we have a full-blown business coaching group. We do recorded tutorials. We have we call it the Cha-Ching Blueprint. It's basically everything you need to get started selling your products online. But we also have office hours almost every day of the week with different coaches. So I'm one of the coaches in there. If you guys want to hear more about all of the specifics of running the business, we share our screen, we do all that stuff. You can sign up. We have a link over at themakersuniversity.com, or you can head over to makersmeanbusiness.com for a link there as well. Anywho, objectives for your business for the month. Let's say you're a wreath maker. You want to sell, 15 wreaths this month. That's a wreath sale every other day on average. So maybe you want to do a video every day and you want to try to get every other day and you want to sell at least one of your wreaths a day on those videos. Write that out. Maybe speak it out loud. Everyone has their different ritual when it comes to setting goals. Maybe you have a vision board. Maybe you have a journal. Maybe I like to speak mine out loud, either to someone who will listen, or maybe sometimes I'll speak them out loud to you guys. And that's just something that kind of helps me. It keeps me accountable. But make sure that you're setting those goals. One thing I like to do a lot when it comes to, it goes hand in hand with setting goals, but also setting objectives. For us, we sell a ton of product on live sales over at Deco Exchange. You can download the app on the Apple App Store as well. Or if you just want to study our selling style, you can also do that. There's no judgment there. we have a plan of maybe we have a lot of mesh, or maybe we have a lot of this sign, or maybe this season is coming to an end soon. So we want to make sure that we get that out in front of our customers or our community. Or maybe you have a new product that you want to launch. There's a ton of different things that you can do with a live sale, but I think it's important to have an objective, because that kind of keeps you on task, on goal. It keeps you going. It keeps you on focus. There's a lot of reasons to, even if you don't write it out, just what I like to do is talk to myself. I know that sounds crazy to some people, but okay, today we've got to hit the mesh hard. Easter's going to come up soon. I've got to get this in front of people. We got to move this product, or Damon's just launched these new signs, or whatever it is. And I want to make sure that I do it with a purpose, so that I know that I think it comes off clear on the other end, on the receiving end of the video. So it's something that I definitely like to do, and I challenge you guys to do. So set goals, set objectives. I think it'll really help. There's the second thing I want to cover here, and I'm going to call it a run sheet, but you can think about it however you like. One thing that I used to do, I'm actually doing it now. I have the whole outline of this podcast episode. I have it pulled up on the screen. So like, I know that I'm staying on task, I'm setting the objectives, I'm doing all the things, but I have it written out in front of me so that I can quickly scan it, and I can be reading the whole thing here. Obviously I'm not reading verbatim, but I have the 3 bullet points, and it keeps me on task with the episode. I really like to do that whenever I'm doing coaching. I really like to do that whenever I'm doing things that aren't just a live sale. For me with Deco, it's a lot easier to just pull up a product and show it on camera and talk about it just on off the cuff, or just I feel like I'm pretty good at that sometimes. I feel like I'm pretty good at that. I can just talk about the ribbon, I can talk about the quality, the look, the feel, all the things, and it feels very natural. But whenever I'm doing other things that are not as second nature, like this podcast, or like when I'm doing business coaching, I'll have that structure, and it'll have the different things that I need to do. And for those of y'all that are planning, or those of y'all that get nervous and you're worried about making sure that you say all the right things, or do all the right things, or at least get all of the different procedures, or the different bullets done, or the checklist done, make that checklist and write it out. One little secret I like to do, or I've done in the past, is right behind the camera. If I'm on live video, if I'm in the studio or doing something like that, I'll have a big whiteboard, and it'll have a list of, obviously you'll have to write it pretty big, just like what I have now with the podcast, with my kind of bullet points and my kind of different, make sure you talk about these things in big bold letters. I'll have on the whiteboard, it'll say introduction, how to sign up, where to check out, all the different kind of rules. And then it'll say go into selling the product, and then for a little while, and then say, hey, if you're just joining us now, you can sign up at decoexchange.com and soul.com, or do all those things. So before you even turn the camera on, like, I wouldn't consider it a script, but it's just like the Cliff Note version, right? And I have that really handy, and I challenge you guys to have that really handy, especially if you get nervous about these things, to make sure that you want to make sure that you hit all the bases, right? You don't want to just turn on the camera and just, some people clam up, some people just talk endlessly. I like to have that there, because whether I clam up or if I talk endlessly, at least I'm going in the direction that the little outline's like a safety net, right? So it keeps you on task, keeps you on that. I challenge you guys to create a run sheet. If you're like me and you do the same kind of live sales all the time, eventually that run sheet will just be second nature. But it's a good way to make sure that you hit all of the important things, right? Join our email list, join our text list, join our app, download the app, sign up for the business coaching. All of those things that I should be doing, and I probably should do more on the podcast. I have those things all written down so that whenever I have the capacity to loop that in, you can do that during your live sale. So I think that's something that can be really helpful to all of you as well. Yo, the last one I want to talk about on this episode is promoting your live event. So I'm going to just be honest. We don't do the best job promoting on the front end because we're unscheduled. We're so off the cuff. It's not, oh, we're live on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. type thing. It's more of when I have time, I'm going to turn on the camera and I'm going to live sell. But what we can do on the back end, or what we do really well on the back end lately, has been promoting the live sale on the back end. So in my head, I'm thinking, okay, you can promote upcoming to the event. And this works really well if you have a big release coming, or if you have a new product, or if you just made some cool new stuff that you want to show, or it's officially Easter season, or all, you can imagine all of these different milestones, and you can use those as a reason to promote something or to go live and talk about something. So promoting can be a really huge deal. Like I was saying, if you're not doing it on the front end, you can still do it on the back end, and it has a very powerful effect as well. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, y'all, I know I've talked about emails a lot of the time. I plan to do a full-blown series just on email lists and contacting your customers or letting your community know via email what's going on. If that has any interest to you, there's a link over at makersmeanbusiness.com. You can head over there. There's a button for MailerLite. You can click on that and get signed up. It's free to sign up for the first 1,000 subscribers that you have. So it's definitely a really great way to start sending emails if you aren't already doing that, or if you're not sure how to get started. So head over there if you want. But y'all, in a perfect world, I would be creating an email. Let's say I'm going live this afternoon or tonight. I could have an email scheduled out to say, hey, Parker's going to be live at 6 p.m. Central tonight. Make sure that you check out the video. Here's a link. Or make sure you download the app to watch him live, and here's a link to that. Or I think you guys kind of get what I'm saying. And that's just an alert. Look out for this video. It's happening here. But you can also start intertwining, like I was saying, if you have a certain product, maybe it's a new wreath that you just made, you can work that into the promotion as well and say, spring is almost here. I know by the time you guys hear this, I'm sure spring is going to be long gone, but let's say Halloween is coming up. I just made the cutest Halloween skeleton wreath, or I released my Halloween line available in my Etsy shop. I'm going to be showing it off live here. And that gives you a chance to, if you word it just like I said it, you can promote your Etsy shop in that email. You can promote your live sale in that email. You can promote all of your other products in that email. You can do all kinds of stuff if you have the foresight to plan that out. If you're like me and you don't plan out that well, what you can do is after the fact, you've done the video, you can now send that using the same strategy of email. There's a bunch of different ways you could do it, but using the same strategy of email, you could then email after the video and says, oh my gosh, did you guys see my live sale where I was showing off my new Halloween wreath? You can check it out, video link here, right? So that gives you a chance to revive an old video. It gives you a chance to get people after the fact to go back and watch. It gives people a chance to leave comments and feedback, and it also gives you email content. I've been leveraging that a lot to just have stuff to send out in emails. As you can imagine, sometimes it's hard to think of some things to email about. But hey, I just did a new video. Check out my product is a perfect way. It's a perfect thing to send an email about, right? You're killing like 8 birds with one stone. It's just so great. So make sure that you are promoting the live event, right? Just as much as you're promoting the product. Like I was saying on the last episode, having those live sales is a great way to talk to your customers and get feedback from them in real time. It's a really cool experience. So getting people to go to it, to watch the replays, to leave you feedback, to comment, it just compounds on itself. So make sure that you're promoting the video. Like I said, it's tough to do sometimes. I know we're not the best at it, but when we do it, it does make a difference. So make sure that you promote your event. If you can do it before, great. If you can do it after, great. I know I talked about email, but y'all, you can do the same thing with texting. You can post about it on social. Don't be afraid to just repost and say, hey, did you miss my live sale? Here's a link to it. You can make Pinterest pins about it. You can do all kinds of things. There's not a shortage of ways to let people know what's going on. Just make sure that you're doing that, right? Y'all, just to recap this episode, I talked all about setting goals and objectives. I talked about creating a run sheet, which is basically like a cheat sheet of things to do, and make sure that you touch on all the important points. And then lastly, we talked about promoting your live sale. And like I said earlier in the video, y'all, if you're not doing live sales, all of those things you can still apply to your videos. It doesn't have to be a live sale video. It can be any kind of video, right? You still want to make sure that you have an objective and a goal for the video. You still want to make sure that you have a general outline or things that you want to hit on. Make sure you say your Etsy shop name. Make sure you tell them where to shop. Make sure you tell them to like and subscribe. Make sure you tell them to join your email list. Whatever your objective is for the video, you can write that all down. And then lastly, a good practice is just to promote the video. It's great for the algorithm. It's great for social to be bringing back old videos into other people's feeds. It's just really an all-around great thing to do for all of your content. Y'all, up next on episode 3, we're going to talk a little bit about how to actually engage and sell on your live sale videos. I know this is probably going to be a really interesting episode. There's a ton of, I guess, like customer behavior stuff I'm going to hope to touch on. I'm definitely going to talk about how to present and how to share, maybe a couple things to say. We're going to talk a little bit about all that stuff. So make sure that you guys like and subscribe. Make sure that you guys subscribe to the Makers Mean Business podcast on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcast. I'll see you on the next episode.